Here's a clip from Anthony X. He's First Amendment auditing in a post office, and here's some of the video.
Let's continue. We've been spotted, guys. Yeah, we've been spotted. She kind of told us over there.
Sir, please got the staff to recording a meeting. Hello, sir.
I think he was talking to you. Sir, you need to step outside. We can't be recording in here.
See, now right now, 2 people have told him that he can't record in there. That would be a $50,000 lawsuit right there. $25,000 for each violation of your First Amendment. Now he could have walked out right now, sued them, and got $50,000. But let's keep watching.
Are you a supervisor?
Yes, I am.
Do you have your rules and regulations on the wall, ma'am? I can show you where it says I can do exactly what I'm doing.
You're not supposed to be recording.
Do you have your rules? I'm willing. Do you have your rules and regulations? I'm willing to show it to you. It's called Poster 7. It should be in every post office.
We need you to step
I'm not going to leave, ma'am. Your rules and regulations say I can do this. I'm press.
You're not supposed to be in here recording.
That's not true, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. So, did you notice how he said that he is press? A lot of First Amendment auditors say that they are press. The reason for this is to establish legitimate business and also go along with Poster 7 that says you can do this for news purposes. But the reason that they say you can photograph in there for news purposes is because you would be loitering basically if you didn't. So a lot of auditors establish legitimate business in these lobbies by saying they're press and doing a news story. But even before Poster 7 was put up, there was the Public Records Act, and you are allowed to go into public buildings and inspect, record, photograph public records. That could be a post-it note. It could be if kids drew pictures and put them on the walls of City Hall, it's artwork. It could be police vehicles. If a police officer writes a love note and puts it on his dashboard, that's public record. What size tires are on his vehicle, the size, the writing on the side of the tire, even the paint scheme or how the lighting is, that's all public record for you to view and inspect. And there's clearly established law on that. And if you're in there inspecting public record, you don't necessarily have to say that you're doing a news story, but that generally makes it easier for people to understand because the police will violate your law, violate your rights. And even judges and people that don't clearly 100% know your rights could spin it to where you're just loitering. Another thing is probably remaining silent in here because any back and forth with a clerk could be considered being argumentative, and it's a stretch. But I mean, if you're arguing with a clerk, they could say that's becoming disruptive. So you really have to be careful. Even though you have free speech, even though recording is legal, everybody's going to spin it a certain way against you, and that's why you have courts. And that's why some auditors get arrested for First Amendment audits, and it sticks, and the charges stick, and sometimes, it doesn't. So you got to be very careful. But, I mean, if you want to prove something to these public servants, sue them and get the money. And anytime you go into a town hall or somewhere and they have a policy in place that violates your rights, you can pursue what's called a Monell claim. It's as if the whole place has a conspiracy to violate your rights. Now, another thing, if this post office calls the police, they're committing the crime of entrapment. They've put up poster 7, they've said, come on in and do photography, and then they try to call another agency, the local PD, to have you arrested. The funny thing is, local PD have no jurisdiction on federal property, not unless there's some special agreement they have with the city to do that. The other reason is, if the post office has federal rules or federal code and the state statute doesn't match it, like if the fines and penalties are more, if those police trespass you and fine you, it could be excessive because it could be different than the federal code fines and statutes. So, but as for entrapment, no auditors really say anything about this. It would be like the supermarket inviting you in to have a free sample and then arresting you for taking the sample. But since this is a government agency calling another government agency, then it's entrapment. Another thing, when you're in public buildings, they try to say they have confidential information out, or when you're recording a police vehicle, they say they have the computer open, and they're saying that you can't record that because it's private information. Well, the thing is, that's also entrapment, and it's also kind of baiting, if you think about it, because they're putting private information out in public where you can freely record, and then trying to have you arrested for viewing it. So, a couple things to look up, a couple things in the law. Google search Monell claims, Google search entrapment. Some states even telling you that it's illegal to record. If the police tell you it's illegal to record, that's a crime of coercion. So, Anthony X here, very good video. Very good audit at the post office. Thank you, Anthony.